talking? Is that because it should be natural? I mean, it shouldn't seem artificial. It should be like really, really natural. Like,
Exactly.
hey, Val, how you doing?
Hey,
That
Michael, how
kind
you
of thing.
doing? It
Like,
should
we
be
should do
like
it
that,
like that.
right?
It
It
should be
should be
like
like
that.
that. Mm-hmm.
And then, I should say to you like, hey, is today Monday? And then you would say like no, and then we go like, is it Wednesday? And you're like, no, the day is like Tuesday because this is uh you know interludes talk on Tuesday with Valarie Johnson. We should do it like that.
We should do it like that. Yeah.
Okay, you
We're
want to do it like that or
okay. Yeah, we could definitely do it like that.
okay?
Yep.
All
Okay.
right,
All right. Let's
so
do it.
all right,
Uh,
so
okay.
hey Valarie,
Hi, Michael.
hey, is it Monday?
No, it's not.
Is it Wednesday?
No, not quite. Not quite hump day.
So today is Tuesday then. So we should do the Taco on Tuesday, interludes Taco on Tuesday, with you, Valarie
And
Johnson.
and with lettuce, cheese, and tomatoes. Tacos.
They are delicious,
Yes, they are. Yes, they
especially
are.
with sangria
I have no idea what's in the bottle that Michael
or
is
something like
drinking.
sangria. They make it really delicious,
Oh
I
my
think.
oh my gosh. We are at the start of the NFL season 2021, 2022.
But we are now. Somebody told the Bears that the NFL actually started. They got the notice a week late, so they started
Yay.
last
So
Sunday, and they defeated the Cincinnati Bengals, which I guess is something. They won, so in the end, they had more points, so that's called a win.
yes,
So
because
very excited.
I heard it was a nail biter.
Well, it shouldn't have been. The Bears were clearly the best team.
Mhm.
They were ahead, and then we lost the person that was QB1,
Uh-oh.
our starting quarterback, and then our backup came in, and then the whole city you could hear the
Oh man.
excitement and the cheers because finally Mr. Justin Fields was in as quarterback, number one, number one for the Bears, our
Mm.
top draft pick, our 2021 top NFL pick to be quarterback. He was finally stepped in there, and he managed to not lose the game, and we were all very happy about it. But
Good.
true to the Bears, now we don't really know who should be the quarterback. We have an awesome defense that actually won the game, and
Cool.
a lot of confusion. So it's football season in Chicago. Wonderful. Our team, we have one team in baseball that's going to the playoffs, and they're also true to Chicago form are backing into the playoffs, losing every single game,
Oh
still
no.
getting closer and closer to actually making it into the playoffs. So a lot not to look forward to, actually. Yeah. So can't
Mhm.
get any better than that. Really excited about the football, though. Next week we should have the injured quarterback start. He'll probably get smashed, and the backup will be back in. Now, if you listen to anybody, they'll tell you that the backup should start. But here's the God honest truth, which you can always get from us. Uh, the starting quarterback, who is not very good, actually won the game, scored the most points, had the higher quarterback rating, and
Mhm.
was the reason that the team was able to win. The backup quarterback came in. He's a rookie, made rookie mistakes, threw the ball, got the ball into the hands of the other team, and really should spend more time kind of learning. And this is his time to learn. You shouldn't be thrust in there. At first,
Yeah.
I was of the mind that, yeah, put the rookie in, have him, sweat it out the year. It'll be a rough year anyway for the team. And that was until I saw their defense.
Oh,
Wow.
how was the
The
defense?
Bears, this is like one of those Bears defense. You've been around That
Yeah.
when the Bears defense suddenly is like not just a defense, it's an offense. It
Oh.
starts to score and starts to do these like incredible things. And you're like, wow, this is amazing. This is the best we've seen in a long time. This is what we've been waiting for. It is, and that's why unfortunately they have to go with the starting quarterback has to be the veteran, who is probably not as good as the rookie,
Mm-hmm.
but will make fewer mistakes. Because if the Bears can just make fewer mistakes than the other team, and put that defense out there,
Mm-hmm.
they can win.
They can win.
They can
It
get
can
to the playoffs.
happen. It can
They can
happen.
actually get in the playoffs. Our division sucks. The
Oh
Packers laid an
no.
egg the first week, which is great.
Mm-mm.
No, we want the division to suck because we're not that good. Okay, so that's good for us. So the Packers laid an egg the first week. They came back into true Packer form. Aaron Rodgers finally woke up from his like, I don't want to play football with these guys, and now he's like back to Aaron Rodgers in week two. So we're gonna have to like kind of push it again. But the Bears and the Packers could be the two teams out of our division to make it into
Mm-hmm.
the playoffs. So I would rather this team to go to the playoffs, have the rookie learn, have him play some in the playoffs maybe, then start all year, have us suck, and then have him be better next year. This defense is a defense that's good enough to be in the playoffs this year. So let's see him get there. So, in a nutshell, that's football. Football looks really good. There's some really strong teams. It's all entertaining. All the games were really close over the last week. And if
Yeah.
you like that, if you like nail biters, if you like, in the last 2 minutes, you're not sure who's going to be up or down and seeing some of these spectacular athletes play, then this is a good, so far so good. It's a good season. It looks like it's going to be a really good season this year.
Gosh, if you're here, let us know you're here in the chat and put it in the chat. Shout out your
Right.
team.
Right. Except if you're from New York, then your football sucks like it always does.
Wait, whoa, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, watch it. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh.
I'm sorry.
I got
I
friends
mean,
in New York. I need you to chill, bruh.
no, they know the truth. They know the Giants suck. I mean, they know more than anybody. They're probably all secretly, watching the Peyton and Eli broadcasts on ESPN2 of these Monday night games, wishing Eli the best, but also secretly wishing that he had stayed on a little bit longer for the Giants because that boy they got there. Oof,
Uh,
oof, man,
well,
man. Saquon Barkley may not make it. I mean, he just ooh, you can't keep giving him the ball. Everybody knows he's getting the ball. That's not good. Not good. Mm-mm.
well, a lot of things were happening on Sunday, and I have to ask this question of you, Michael. Has streaming services killed TV network shows?
That's an interesting question. And I would love to hear your take on that as well. It's funny. I was listening to some, listen to a show on satellite radio, and
Mhm.
they were talking about music. It's basically a music show where they're talking about the use of music and TV, and they mentioned the fact that you know this is traditionally the week where you get television debuts from the kind of terrestrial networks that are still relevant, the ABC, NBC, CBS, and even Fox.
Mhm.
If you're old enough to remember when Fox really wasn't a network, but Fox as well, that they're still rolling out like as if nothing has changed, and
Yeah.
this is the time when they're debuting their so-called fall lineup of new shows for the 21 to 22 television year.
Mhm.
So it's really interesting because you have them you have the other 5 million channels, and they're doing what they just do, which is just kind of come out whenever they want to. But you have this older school kind of rollout of shows. I think all the FBI's are on tonight, and then one week this week will be all the Chicago shows on NBC. And I don't know. I don't know if streaming services have killed that, and here's why I'm not sure.
Okay.
These streaming services still, I mean, if you go to a Hulu or a Netflix
Mm-hmm.
or some of these places, they still kind of rely on these older shows.
Okay.
People eventually, they discover it a couple of months or a year or so later, but they still rely on those shows. Like when we were talking to Bernadette Speaks not very long ago, in her involvement with All American, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
All American has its own season. Now, some people discovered it late. They discovered it maybe much later on services like Netflix or some of the other streaming services. Maybe they didn't see it first run on CW,
Mm-hmm.
but they eventually found the show. So maybe there is something still to this sort of September is the month of new television, you know, because
Yeah.
eventually it does make its way in front of people. Maybe not all in September, maybe October or November, but they eventually see the start of these shows, and either week to week or one weekend they watch all 10 episodes. Next March, but it still kind of moves that way. So, what do you think? Do you think this is? I mean, is this the time? Do you begin to watch all these new shows now, Valerie, or are you catching them when you can?
Um, I'm I'm kind of on the latter of that, which is catching some of the shows when I can. And I want to give a shout out to Bruce. What's up? He's a Bears fan here in Chicago. What's up?
Right, we're
What's up,
down.
Bruce? That's right. But you
We're
know what?
down.
I will say this: um the streaming services have redefined the seasons back in the broadcast days. And Bruce and guys that's in the chat, let me know if you remember this. A show would go and run a solid 20 to 24 episodes solid. It would be either comedy or
Mhm.
drama, and it
Yeah,
would run that would be considered a full season. Streaming services have redefined the streaming season as 8 episodes, 10 episodes, sometimes 13, not quite. So I kind of feel like streaming has kind of redefined that because
it's
people have
abbreviated it.
they've
Okay.
abbreviated it because people binge watch. So you spend 13 hours plus in front of a, a Mandalorian or a series that you love, WandaVision. You sitting there and you're digesting all that. And I think 20 or 24 episodes is too much to digest, but 10, 8, right around that number, just about right. So, but what I will say in transition with the network situation, the Emmy Awards has definitely recognized and understood that we're going to be awarding the streaming services big time with and they won big this past Sunday night. Sexual Entertainer was the host for this situation, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out like, wow, like at one point, maybe about 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I think HBO was dominant. Do you remember that when HBO was dominant and winning, and it was
Hmm.
kind of like
Yep.
the new shiny penny or the new kid on the
Yes.
block, and you're
I
like,
feel it.
okay.
Right. Right.
But
Game of Thrones, a million nominations. Yes. Or
oh,
Sopranos. Right.
oh, yes, Sopranos was HBO. You guys remember
Hmm.
that? Yeah. If you guys have a favorite TV show that you remember from either back in the day or even currently, hey, go ahead and put it in the chat because I totally get it. I was a huge fan of what was it, Sex in the City. And I remember it's run on HBO, and it was a little bit abbreviated. It didn't quite do 22 episodes. It probably did just under it, but I knew that production costs, it takes anywhere from 5 to 10 episodes for people to catch on to see if they like you. But what I will say with Emmys, and this is the reason why I watch it. I see some folks, they answered my question in the group. They said, you know what, Val, we don't like the Emmys because it's politically, the voting is this and the voting is that, and we don't really care. But I care because I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what are other folks watching? So during the pandemic, a lot of the Emmy voters were watching Netflix and they were watching HBO Max and Apple TV.
I mean, you mentioned the streaming services, how that's changed the way we watch things.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go back old school a little bit again.
Okay.
One of the kind of funnier exchanges that at the Emmys that probably wasn't super significant, but it was I sort of caught it, was between Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross. When they
Oh
came
yeah.
up there, they did a little kind of jokingly thing where she served him, and it's like, I want to get a TV divorce, from I want to get a divorce. He's like, we're not really married, Tracy. You're my TV wife. And they did it so to kind of highlight the fact that Blackish is in syndication.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, as popular as that TV show had been on ABC for many years, there are people, maybe younger people, who are just catching it now because it's in syndication. And
Right.
syndication, that was the major change. Before streaming services, it was syndication. What
Mm-hmm.
does that mean? That means that these TV shows that were on these traditional networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, once they reached about the magical mark of 100 shows, when they
Mm-hmm.
got to 100 shows, they were eligible for this thing called syndication, meaning
Right.
that TV stations and other places, places like your independent Fox station in your local area, or somewhere like a WGN station, like a super
Mm-hmm.
station, or somewhere like that, they would pick up those episodes of that TV show. Well, that's the same thing that's happening on cable with some of the cable services. They're picking up these shows once they hit 100 episodes and just playing what are reruns. But you know what? As NBC used to say, if you haven't seen it, it's new to you. So for some people, they're watching Blackish on whatever station it is that may not be ABC anymore. You know, they're watching it wherever, and wherever they're watching it for the first time, it's new to them. So that show lives on,
Right.
and
And it
and
will.
syndication has made that first change. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing I think is really interesting is a point that you brought up. I want to just go back to. Um, Places like the BBC, also a lot of
Oh.
foreign networks
Oh yeah.
really changed how we looked at television. When you had these kind of mini series events, right? Something
Yeah.
like Luther
I remember
with
that.
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
When it came out, people were really hyped to watch Luther.
Mhm.
And Luther would come out with a season, and a season would be like 4
4
episodes.
episodes.
Like,
Did anyone watch Luther?
and so then you'd wait, like, an indeterminate amount of time because you're getting this from BBC or you're getting it from some other source, and you'd wait for another 4 episodes. You're like, 4 episodes? Now, 2-hour episodes still, but
Mhm.
still it's four. And it sort of made you think differently about, well, the arc of a story. How long does it take to tell a story? 4 2-hour episodes, that's 8 hours of
Right.
viewing.
Mhm.
That would be like 8 episodes of something else.
Right.
So it sort of like changed your mindset of how you watch things, and
Right.
it sort of stretched you out, like build up your TV muscles. So I can watch 4 episodes of a 2-hour show, where if it was a 1-hour show, it's like, can you watch 8 hours of a 1-hour show
I don't
at
know.
once? Maybe you can after you watch 4 episodes of a 2-hour show, because you strong now. I'm getting stronger now. I can watch this show a little bit. You spot me a little bit longer. Yes. And then you can binge. And then people begin to binge. Like they would sit themselves down and watch, 14 hours or something. Or some
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous thing.
Oh, Bruce is saying, I'm still trying to get used to streaming when it comes to TV shows because growing up, we didn't have that. We didn't even have shows we could record, let alone stream. And I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys remember, I remember doing the VHS recording. I don't know about anybody else, but
Yeah.
I have old episodes of The Cosby Show and I have the 1986 Super Bowl. I'm telling my age. The Bears win on VHS somewhere in this house.
January 26, 1986.
Yes,
The Bears
yes.
defeated the New England Patriots 46-10.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hardcore. I can do that. 46-10. They defeated the New England Patriots.
There you go. That was well before Brady, well before, and the
Oh yeah.
situation that was happening. Kevin is joining us. How you doing? Unfortunately, I hadn't heard about it. I'm trying to figure out what he was talking about regarding that. I'm going to go over some of these Emmy winners from
Mhm.
the Primetime Emmy
And I
Awards.
understand people, mention like they don't like, award shows and they feel like the Emmys is as a show is too political.
Yeah,
However, it is a way to kind of highlight new things. So sometimes I may watch a show like that not to see who won, but to see
hmm
what got nominated. It's like,
yeah,
oh, I haven't seen that before. Maybe I could try to find out where that is. So I could watch it later,
oh
because it's a finite amount of time. You can't watch everything all the time. So,
yeah, I know.
you know,
Kevin says that was a great Bears team, but he says Vikings for life. That I guess that was a dig at you. I don't know. Vikings?
well, the Vikings. So, I would rather not have a team that manages pretty consistently to score 30 points, but allow their opponents to score almost 40. It's like as much
Okay.
as the Vikings score, their defense allows the other team to score just a little bit more. Defense still helps to win games. The Vikings haven't figured it out. They
Yeah,
just
and Bruce says he recorded the Bears Super Bowl win over the Patriots. He has that tape too. Us true
yes,
Bear fans have that because that's
you do. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, and as much as Mike Ditka loved that team, and we all love that. I mean, when he passes away, which he eventually will, I know he'll still be, apologizing for not giving Walter Payton the ball to score
yeah,
a touchdown.
yeah.
He gave it to the Fridge instead of Payton, and the whole city of Chicago still remembers that Walter didn't score a touchdown in the Super Bowl because he
Oh,
deserved to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl
pretty
for
much.
everything he had done for that team. Anyway, and we don't make that up by having all of his children on TV all at the same time of varying talents.
What is Kevin saying? We will return. Don't hate. Purple eaters will return.
Oh no, I don't hate the Vikings. Just
No,
just let me know when they're relevant again.
oh, ouch.
Tell me when Kirk Cousins figures out that to be a team player he might want to be healthy and not get his teammates infected.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I think I see. Oh, Roxanne is in the building. How you doing, girl?
Roxanne.
Yeah. So Netflix was the big winner of the night on Sunday. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. The Crown pretty much dominated. I don't know. Something about that crown, y'all. Something about England. I
Well,
don't
do you watch
know.
The Crown?
What was that?
Do you watch The Crown?
No,
Okay.
I don't care.
Ask me.
So
Ask me. Ask me. Ask me.
I don't. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What?
Ask me. Ask me. Ask me.
Okay. Michael, do you watch?
Yes.
You do?
No. I didn't hear you ask me. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was okay. Oh, but before I get to that, Kevin said, "Shots fired, bro. I want Kirk out. I've been wanting him out."
Oh. I think the NFL also wants him out too. I believe if the NFL could step in, they would send him packing too. So I empathize with you, bro. I do. I don't have anything. Like I said, I don't have anything against the Vikings, except they are in my division. But I don't know. I don't know why they kept him around. He's not that
Hey, Roxanne. She says that she was mildly interested in the Emmys, but never really watched. Probably was busy doing other stuff, but I
had a
was
great
watching.
intro.
It,
I mean, the intro
yes. Did you see
that
that?
was great. Wow. Yes.
I heard a review because I heard LL Cool J popped up in the middle at the beginning of this, and it seems like he makes an appearance on every CBS based award show. Is that
He
correct?
better. He's got one of them contracts. Look, LL, Latifah, and MC Light. They have some kind of like lifetime Paramount TV contract where they're
Yeah.
everywhere. Before Cedric gave her the props that she is due, I
Mhm.
recognize MC Light's voice doing this award show. I'm doing
Um,
every single award show on BET. It
mhm.
was like, that's Light. And he said, MC Light's like, yeah, said I know. That's Light. Light's doing it. Light is doing her thing as an announcer.
Yeah, and
No, but
Kevin
that
said,
intro,
Kevin,
man,
yeah.
with the Biz Marquee tribute, that
Yeah,
was
that
that was
was really nice. That was
yeah.
really nice. I enjoyed that part. Kevin said he didn't get a chance to really watch the whole thing, but he saw bits and pieces. Share which bits and pieces you saw, because that'd be interesting to
I
hear
hope
what
it
that
was the
is.
good bits,
Uh,
not the
so,
naughty bits.
oh gosh, Olivia Colman, Gillian Anderson, Tobias Mendez, uh, and Josh O'Connor. They dominated the actors in drama,
Sounding like everybody
actress.
from The Crown.
Everybody from The Crown won in all of their categories.
Which
It
I
was,
don't watch.
and then Peter Morgan won for drama writing in the series. But let me ask you, Michael, do you watch The Crown?
That's a negative, Valor. I do not watch The Crown. This last series, the last season of The Crown, is covers time in which you and I were both
Very
alive.
familiar
The
with, yeah.
time there with Margaret Thatcher and Princess Diana and that whole. So I took the royals view of The Crown and decided to skip it,
Yeah.
not watch it. Don't feel any bad. Don't feel bad for missing it either.
No.
I thought we beat the Brits, didn't we? Didn't we have a war?
Yeah, we
And
did.
I thought we successfully like told them to like go away.
Bye.
And I don't understand why we keep like drifting back to them. I did mention Luther earlier. That's an
Mhm.
exception. That's Idris. Idris gets a pass. He's okay. But I mean, this whole love of this whole, I don't have it. Okay,
Yeah, I
maybe I'm
don't.
more of a patriot than other people, but I like the Brits to stay on the other side of the pond.
Well, you know what? I will
I
say
like
this.
my TV American.
Um, the other winners of some things, and I'm trying to get my spot here. Here we go. All right, Apple TV knocked it out the box with Ted Laszlo.
Lasso.
Um, Lasso,
Every
Lasso.
time we always talk about it, I always tell Valarie just to pretend like it's in Texas because he's from Oklahoma. His character is it's lasso. So like
Lasso.
a lasso,
Okay,
like a rope. Lasso.
Lasso.
Yeah, lasso.
I can do that. I can do that. And so
Yeah,
Jason Sudeikis won for lead actor and
love it, love it. He deserved it.
best supporting actor Brett Goldstein and Hannah
Yeah,
Waddingham, best
yes, they
supporting
all
in both.
deserved it. Thank God I was on a plane. I don't have Apple TV, but I had a plane ticket, and
All
my
right.
plane ticket got me access to Apple TV.
There you go.
While I was in the air, so I got to watch several episodes of Ted Lasso,
Lasso.
and it's great. And if you haven't seen it,
Okay.
you should give it a shot.
Okay.
It's rather wholesome and very kind of sweet and endearing. It's unusual in that you have
Yeah.
this character who is going through some stuff And I believe the second season, which I haven't seen, it kind of explained
Mhm.
more of his family situation. I mean, he's going through a tough time, but
Mhm.
he gives off this air of positivity,
Oh, good.
like as the best coach that you've ever had. And
Wow.
sort of, I think he is sort of, models that
Okay.
in all of those wonderful ways. Like,
Mhm.
if you've
Mhm.
ever been on a team and had a coach, you had somebody that was pumping you up with positivity. One of my high schools I was at, there's a football. Actually, there are two football coaches that are like that, and I still follow them online,
Oh,
through Facebook because they are. They're really genuine, and it's unusual to run into those types of people, and you would think like, oh, this is like ridiculous, this is stereotype, no one's like that, but yet there are people like that, and this
hmm.
show kind of highlights one of them, and I think that's why people are attracted to it, because he is such this beacon of, you know go get them and work and do your best, and we're supporting you, give 110%, all of that kind of like nonsense, which is good, and I think we need it at a time when there's so much grief and
Yeah.
depression and
Mhm.
anxiety. I think
Mhm.
that show touches into something, this raw desire that we have to be genuinely happy.
And
I mean, I can't
seen.
explain it any better. That it's also very funny. It is a funny show. It is
Right.
a funny show. Jason Sudeikis was one of those players who you might not be able to, otherwise pick out of a lineup of white guys from Saturday Night Live. He was very funny. He was often funny in the skits that he did on SNL. When he won his award, he took some shots at Lauren Michaels, who took the opportunity to go to the bathroom when Jason's category was up and won. He wanted to give some praise to Lauren. Michaels looked out and his seat was empty. He's like, oh, Lauren's in the bathroom. Like,
Wow.
that's fitting.
I guess that's the running joke with that. But as I, so Michael is recommending Ted
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Lasso.
definitely.
So
Yeah,
he's
it's good.
definitely recommending it. So it was a big winner. It won also creative Emmys as well. I see that Kevin mentioned in the chat about the Michelle Cole speech. And I
We
have to
posted that on our
we
Facebook.
we posted that on our Facebook group, and I want to say that she won for outstanding writing
Writing.
for a
Yes.
limited series for the series called "I May Destroy You." I think she had the best acceptance speech for the night because she dedicated her award to survivors of sexual assault and speaking powerfully to the material of the series. So if you've not seen "I May Destroy You," go ahead and check it out. It's a rough
Try.
watch. It's a
Yeah.
rough watch.
Yeah. It took me several times to get through the first episode
Mhm.
of it.
And
It is that.
and
Caution.
Bruce and and
Caution.
Bruce and Bruce questioned. He said, "The Crown." I don't know what that means, but hey, if you're not into the whole thing that happened over in England, you can skip it. I just feel like Bruce, you're asking about it. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
My king and queen are from Zamunda. Okay.
Also, Disney's Hamilton won for Outstanding Variety Special, and I want to say Renee Elise Goldsberry.
Yeah.
She was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Unfortunately, she lost, but she gave a wonderful acceptance speech talking about how during the very beginning of the pandemic, when the lights went dim in New York for Broadway, how
Hmm.
this recording of Hamilton and it streaming on Disney Plus kind of gave a boost for Broadway actors. And I want to say they're celebrating as of last week the lights coming back on the Great White Way in New York
Oh,
after an
Broadway.
18-month hiatus due to
Oh,
COVID.
Broadway. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So
Yes.
in your million and a half trips back and forth to the coast, to the East
I'm
Coast,
not going a
have
million
you
times.
she's in New York more than you think.
I am
So
not.
anyway, big things coming at some point from Valerie. So have you had are you planning on catching any shows on the so-called Great White Way on Broadway?
I would. I believe I'm trying to go back either at the end of October or maybe in November. There is
See,
a Mary
told
there
you,
sorry, there
told
is a
you.
Mary J. Blige concert that's happening at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And D Nice is
Ooh,
DJing. And I would like to say and see my friend Derek and say hello. You're terrible.
her New York boyfriend. Nice.
So
Breaking
I
news. Dun, 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 dun.
so when I'm there, I think I would like to see the Temptations on Broadway. I forgot the name of it. It'll come to me if you guys know that the
But
name of the
she forgot it
Temptations.
because she mentioned D Nice, and now she's thinking about D Nice's really firm arms and being back in his warm embrace.
We're trying to get him on the podcast, Michael. So let's just keep the hey.
He should come on. I mean, during the time they were together, Common went on that radio show with that girl. So
Yeah.
mm,
And here's RuPaul has broken a Emmy record. The most winning host for a reality a show.
you better work it.
I see, yeah, RuPaul's drag race. He also won the same show won about 6 or 7 Emmys with creative, and then he ended up winning um for outstanding competition program. So
I
RuPaul,
believe that.
yes, that's right. So he says, come if you all have if you want to come, you have a home with RuPaul, and just kind of, and I didn't understand what he meant by that because I saw a pose, so I totally understand that. Oh my gosh, wow, Mary J. Blige and D Nice, no pun intended. Nice. Oh, Bruce, you're hilarious. I
Nice job. What? How did we do that? How did we do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Mary J. Blige. I'd love to see her, especially in Brooklyn. She probably
Huge
will
fan of D Nice
clown.
too.
What happened?
You're a huge fan of D Nice too.
It's my little crush. Can we talk about Debbie Allen?
Taking out the suckers don't know how to did it. Yeah, that's what Debbie did. She took out those suckers.
Yeah, she did.
Love the tribute there, with
Mhm.
Ava and Jada and that old man, that old white. Oh, that was Michael Douglas. Huh? Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah. So
Jimmy, how you doing? He just told me the name of the Temptations Broadway show. It's called Ain't Too Proud.
ain't
And
too
he
proud.
took his wife to see it 2 years ago. Yes, I would love to see that, Jimmy. So it is Ain't Too Proud, the Temptation story on Broadway, because I'm a big fan of music. So that's what, if I'm going to go back into the theater, I'm going to go and see that. So that's what that's
Right.
about. Yeah.
Temptations much greater than fighting temptations. Not as good.
Yeah, not as good.
Don't make that mistake.
So anyway, I'm really excited. She won a creative award the week before for Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square. She did choreography.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hello. And then so they honored her like a Lifetime Achievement Governor's Award for Emmy. Do you know Debbie Allen has been an active working actor and in the business since the early 80s. So we're talking 4 decades of work. If you remember A Different World became watchable after the second season because of Debbie Allen. We have Amistad because of Debbie Allen.
And with all due respect,
Mm-hmm.
Debbie Allen can get it.
Bruce said I
I
was
know
just
she's
about to
happily
mention
married.
Debbie Allen.
I know
And
she's happily married and has
yes.
been, and God
Mm-hmm.
bless her in that and the wonderful things she does. I was one of those people that watched that Netflix special. It's like a documentary on Debbie Allen and
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
and the dance studio she has there in outside of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sometimes we talk about older actresses and people in Hollywood, and we talk about how beautiful they are, and
Mm-hmm.
I think at times they do that just out of respect for who they are and how they are. I ain't doing that for Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen can get it.
She
Like,
did
I
tell.
think she delivered.
They kept playing
Like
the music.
DoorDash. Like DoorDash, girl. Like DoorDash.
They kept
Ding dong.
they
Hi,
kept
Debbie.
they kept playing music for people to move it along. And so Debbie was like, y'all can lose the counter because she's directed these things before. So she knows. She's like, y'all can lose the counter. I'm going to talk. So it was very funny to see that.
She has done
Everything.
everything. She
Everything.
has been the person who was nominated as the actor on an award show. She has been the person who was nominated as the choreographer of the for an award show. She has choreographed an award show. She's directed TV shows. I mean, she's produced television. She has done everything. So that's the person that goes on a TV set and knows everybody's job because she's done everybody's job.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, she was shouting people out, and my head spinning like, oh, wow. Oh, yeah, she did that too. She did that too.
You forget.
Right.
You forget.
Right.
And how many sitcoms, when you look, I don't know if you're a nerd like me, I will read the what do you call that? The credits. And then I'll look at something and it'll say directed by Debbie Allen. And I'm like, she directed Girlfriends?
She directed Different World.
She directed Grey's Anatomy? She starred in Grey's Anatomy?
She choreographed a Dolly Parton special. So Dolly Parton is on there talking about how great Debbie Allen is.
Yes.
I mean, that's like ridiculous. I mean, like, who are you?
She is every woman, like Shaka Khan sings, and it's all in her. Well, I will say, and she's blazed a trail for women behind the scenes. And I didn't realize that there hasn't been a lot of women directors that have been nominated. There were 2 winners for Emmys on Sunday. She directed The Crown. It was the war episode, and Lucia Iannello for HBO Max Hacks.
Yes, that was the other person.
That was the other big winner was HBO Hacks.
Yes, the woman that won for directed that. She's one of the co-writers, also a co-writer for the show. And Hacks is wonderful. That's a great show. It's a wonderful show.
We'll have to check that out. Bruce is bringing us back to so then we're probably close to 50 years. Bruce says he remembers Debbie Allen when she was on a couple of episodes of Good Times when she played JJ's fiance. Do you remember she was the one that had the drug problem? So that's the 70s, dude. That's the 70s.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, I remember her.
Thank you, Bruce.
Fame. Wow, you went back to Good Times.
You went back to Good Times.
Wow. How long ago is that? JJ, Jimmy Walker's on TV telling people that he can get all his Social Security benefits and how you can get yours. He's lauding the fact that his area code gets him $100 benefit. And I'm like, dude, Jimmy Walker, if you need the $100 benefit from your Social Security, something is going terribly wrong in your life. Okay? Terribly wrong.
Well, it's probably a mismanagement of money, and the thing of it is,
no, it's not. He's cool. Jimmy Walker has always worked. That brother has never stopped working.
We just haven't seen him on the
he does
stage.
Oh yeah, he does.
He does
like
local
club
stuff.
days where you get paid money for real.
Right.
I mean, you always see Bill Maher on TV, and Bill Maher likes being on TV. But Bill Maher will tell you every city that he is touring in, because as a performer, that's how you make money from box office. That's how JJ doing okay, but JJ is telling you about Social Security. That's how old Good Times is. My goodness. And Debbie Allen was there. Whew.
Yeah. So I
can't tell looking at her last Sunday night.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and close with Kerry Washington. She was presenting the best supporting actor, and she pays tribute to Michael K. Williams, who unfortunately passed away a few weeks ago from a drug overdose in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. She said, Michael was a brilliantly talented actor and a genuine human being who who has
Generous.
left
Yeah.
us too far too soon. Your excellence, your artistry will endure. We love you. Unfortunately, that love did not translate into an Emmy win, but I was so grateful that Carrie said that before presenting the award. So, um, very, very, very sad that we lost him. He has a great body of work that any of us could go back to. The Wire, Broadwalk Empire, and then, of course, what he was nominated for, Lovecraft Country. So Michael K. Williams will be missed. And I'm so grateful that Kerry Washington, outstanding Emmy Award winning actress, paid wonderful tribute. Roxanne's coming up back to, she's bringing back Debbie Allen. Fame was my introduction to Debbie Allen. It
Yes,
was
mine
my
too. Yeah.
introduction to Debbie Allen, too. You know that fame cost. And if you got to get out here and sweat,
And Irene Cara. That was my introduction to Irene Cara, who I was in love with at the time. Irene Cara, who has shown up on still on television on CBS. Most recently, she was in a TV show. I think it was like what was the name of, like, God Found Me or something like that.
oh, God
Um,
friended me. I
God
don't even
Friended
know.
Me.
I don't know if
She
that
was
was
on there.
renewed. I don't know
No,
if
it
that was
wasn't.
renewed.
It
It
wasn't.
wasn't.
It,
Okay.
it did. It did wrap up.
Oh,
But Irene Cara was on there.
yeah.
She still
So,
looks good too. She
uh,
looks good too.
yeah.
She's on the list.
I saw
On my
her.
older lady list. I have one.
Oh, good, great. We'll come back to that. You so silly. Some of the
Woo.
some of the shows that are premiering for the fall lineup, we're probably going to be talking about this every week because they're all not coming out on the same week. I got a chance to watch Ordinary Joe.
You did, starring the Mad Men actor James Walk. So if you recognize a
Mhm.
guy there, it's likely from Mad Men, which was an
Mhm.
excellent show. What'd you think
Yeah.
of it? What'd you think of
Well,
Ordinary Joe?
I felt like it was This Is Us Part 3, and I was saying 3 because there was 3 storylines I was fighting to keep up with. If you
Okay.
walked away, if you got chips, if you did anything, you would have come back and been like, okay, which Joe is this? And you were just a little confused. He graduates from college, and there's 3 different paths that he could go on. He's an excellent actor. I enjoyed. I was engaged with it, but I
Okay.
do know that if you are going to like this show, and if you like This Is Us, because This Is Us is that, multiple storyline. It could go in the back to the past, and they could jump right to the future, and you could be like, where are we? And you could, if you see an older Mandy Moore, we know we're talking current. If you see you see her playing her age or younger, that means it's back in the day. So yeah, so this Ordinary Joe kind of, the good thing is it kind of stays in the same timeline or whatever. So
Okay.
I definitely was interested in that. So it just premiered yesterday on NBC. It's one of the network offerings. And then Bruce mentioned earlier about the Wonder Years. It's going to be coming
Yes.
back. What do you think
Right.
about this coming back, Michael?
Um, am I excited to see a new Wonder Years? I guess I may be in the minority. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I think that I'm interested in it. I'm interested in kind of looking at that from a different perspective, a different ethnic perspective, one that I'm more familiar with.
Right.
Um, I, you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. And I want to mention something about Ordinary Joe too.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing with that perspective. I think in general, I'll step out on a limb here, that being African American,
Hmm.
you kind of know things about America, and the kind of dominant, at least by numbers up until this year, folks in the country. So you know the experience of white people in America.
Hmm.
It's kind of your experience and the experience of people like you or other people of color that you don't really get to see and get to explore. So I'm interested in seeing what they do with the Wonder Years, how they take on that. It was such a sweet, sort of wholesome show. I think you can replicate something like that
Yeah.
with an African American family. I
Yeah.
think because of the way it is, sometimes people think, oh, it's black, so it's gonna needs to address racism. Not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily. I
Yeah.
mean, growing up, I know that going to an predominantly African American school and having that kind of insulated bubble sort of, youth, that I didn't sit around and think about racism. You know,
Mm-mm.
do you know what I mean?
No.
I think that if it looks at the story from an authentic kind of black gaze, then I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be really interesting and probably would be something that people who aren't African American watching will kind of like be interested in seeing. I think that was one of the appeals of the original, dare I say, Cosby Show.
Right.
That can't say his name, but anyway, but the Cosby Show, like that was the kind of the appeal to that, is that show wasn't about racism, and it had an African American family. 'Cause you don't sit around and just think about racism. You think about like just living your life and what's good for your family. And that would be interesting to see the Wonder Years take on that approach. And I hope it
Yeah.
does. I
Yeah.
hope it
And
does.
I hope it does too. Bruce said earlier, he said he's looking forward to the Wonder Years with John Cheadle narrating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, having that voice, a very that familiar
Hmm.
voice take you through it.
Yeah.
Um,
And
you know,
I think Elijah E.J. Williams is going to be playing Dean Williams, and familiar actor Dule Hill will be the
mhm.
patriarch of the family, and
Yeah, he's a patriarch, definitely.
patriarch of the
Yeah,
family.
definitely.
And so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. And this premieres on ABC tomorrow on the 22nd.
Mhm.
And of course, everything that comes on ABC, if you watch it the next day on Hulu, that's kind of how that works. So the Wonder Years is a reboot. And Fred Savage, who was a part of the 1988 original series, is directing the first episode. So I am
I think he's a producer.
he's a
Isn't he a
producer
producer
too.
of the
Hmm.
show? Yeah.
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 So
Now,
that
you
is
were mentioning Ordinary Joe. See, you made the connection to This Is Us, which I think is really,
yeah.
timely and relevant. I want to go
Hmm.
back up to an older reference that I think fits there. If
Okay.
that's a show that you're interested in, like
Mhm.
Ordinary Joe, if you watch an episode or two, however it's rolling out, um, the comparisons that I've heard is that to Sliding Doors.
Interesting. Okay.
Sliding Doors, which is a older movie. I think it starred Gwyneth Paltrow, may have been in that. And that kind of premise is that, the character walks through the sliding door and, has one outcome or another.
Mhm.
And with Ordinary Joe, it's like three of them, right? Three different storylines. Is that right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, sliding
3
door is just the
storylines.
two. It's just the two. Like, what if you decided to do this and went in this direction, or what if you decided to do that and go into a different direction? So I think it's a very interesting premise. It's certainly, I'm interested in. I think I will try to go back and watch Ordinary Joe now that you mentioned it
Yeah.
and kind of
Because it
you
it
know
engaged
yeah.
me. It engaged me, and it came on right after The Voice because I was bouncing between that and Dancing with the Stars, and so I was thinking, you know what? Let me check this out because they always have. I've noticed that when they have those competition reality shows, they always try to have some type of strong either comedy or drama right after. I miss Castle. Castle used to come on after Dancing with the
Mm.
Stars, and they now rerun that late nights. The last show I want to mention that's premiering in this week, but technically next week is going to be on the Stars Network. I don't know if you've heard about this BMF, Black Mafia Family. This is offering from Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent. He was on The View last week promoting
Betty,
this. Fitty, he has become a showrunner and a show creator. Guys in the chat, let me know what you think about 50 Cent's new show, BMF. I don't. he got power, and he just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep on
No one
doing.
man should have all that power. A different rapper said that. Mm.
I don't. I'm the only actor I'm familiar with that I've seen in the previews is Russell Hornsby, and I was a big fan of him from
I
oh
love this
gosh,
music from the 80s, right? You know, that's the
that's
way
not
it
the guy.
is.
No,
Du-du-du, du-du-du.
that's a
You know,
different
also
guy.
always be in the range, right? Right.
No,
Tupac
no.
covered it song, right?
Yeah, so it is based on a book, I believe, that
He reads.
hmm? I
Does he
guess 50
read?
reads, but you know what? I think that is so
50
mean.
Shades of Books.
You know what? That is mean, Michael. So I believe, yes, so the two kids or the two guys are based out of Detroit, and it's supposed to be this series. I think it's going to run
I
about
seen the
8.
preview for that. Okay,
Right.
okay. Finally, I made a connection here. Okay,
Okay, you made it. So there's
Detroit,
a right,
Detroit, Detroit.
right.
Yeah,
It's raw, and I
you
can't
know
recommend
Detroit,
it.
Detroit. You know
Detroit.
the French.
Can't
Right.
recommend it for everybody. If you are a fan of what 50 has put out with via the Power Universe, BMF might be something you'd like to check out. But
Now this is set in the 80s, right? This
that's
is
set in the 80s.
and kind of sort of gives you the beginning of the culture that fuels or financially funds what becomes hip hop,
Right.
which traditionally in every other culture in uh, ethnicity has been some form of illegal money
Yeah,
that then
unfortunately.
becomes so that becomes legitimate money and then fuels entertainment. But
Yeah.
other groups have had that same kind of come up story,
Yeah.
which is true to certain segments of African American music. It's always been there, right?
Right.
Those are the stories that you saw in like movies like The Five Heartbeats, right? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
we're holding them outside the window, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Uh,
My office
when you gonna pay
hours.
me?
Yeah,
I
my
just want to know
office
when you gonna pay me my money.
my
Oh,
office hours are from 9 to 5.
that's right.
You remember that line? When are my office hours? From 9 to 5.
Well, one of the movie groups that I'm part of. That's how you get into their group. Is you must be able to.
Quote
Yes,
a
yes,
line. You
yes.
gotta quote a line from a
No, no,
movie.
no. That one. You got to know
Oh,
that one. You
you
got to
gotta
know what
know
that
that
movie
one.
is, and they let you in. Yep. Oh my God. When they ask when are his office hours?
From 9 to 5.
All right, boy.
Excuse me, ladies.
Hmm.
Beating up this
Hmm.
guy. Oh
Hey,
my gosh,
so I mean,
that's
you know,
classic.
it's always been part of it in some form, part of entertainment. There's been some form of, folks with money, they ain't supposed to have money on the books. Trying to put their money on the books through music.
Yeah. And so
So I
that
think it's safe to say that 50 is setting it in Detroit, given the fact that his mentor or the guy that helped to put him on, who's not
mhm,
named Dr. Dre, was named Marshall Mathers, who's also
mhm,
from Detroit and would
mhm.
know some of that story, right?
Yeah.
Like he's setting it in Detroit, home of Shady.
Yeah, and in fact, I believe Shady, along with Snoop Dogg, is supposed to appear in one or two of the episodes.
Not
And 50
surprised.
and 50 said it was very interesting trying to direct Snoop Dogg. He says, you can't be doing the smoking of the weed. He's like, hey, why you gonna come in here messing with me? And the ladies of the View, they were laughing at what he was saying. He's like, but he stays high. He doesn't. There's no detox. He just like don't mess with me. He said weed's
Who-
legal. This was Snoop. This was Snoop talking to 50, and so 50 was saying that Snoop hit all of his lines, but he is definitely in a state of calm all the time.
Why would you want to mess
Why
with
would you want
what
to mess with that?
makes Snoop great? I mean, I don't hear anybody in Nashville and country music saying that to try to take the joint out of Willie Nelson's mouth. Do you?
No, I
I
don't.
mean,
I
speaking of
don't.
people that are always perpetually high, you got to put Willie Nelson up there
Hmm.
too. You know, no surprise that Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg have recorded songs together.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah. Probably been
make
very calm
exactly
recording that.
walk through the cloud
Recording.
of smoke in that studio. Good luck.
So BMF that premieres on Stars.
That doesn't even
Check
sound right,
It
does it?
doesn't sound right, but it's
Just
Black
don't.
Mafia Family. That's what the BMF stands for. I'm putting it out there because
I mean,
50 Cent has put
he
his
did
name
try
out
to do a
there
show on
as a
ABC, didn't
showrunner.
he?
I think that's what
He
he's doing.
did
That's his
try to
new
do a
thing.
show on ABC about the guy.
And that
I
got
mean, I guess I
canceled.
gotta give him some credit. I
That
guess
got canceled.
it wasn't for lack of trying on 50's part. I mean,
It got
he pushed.
canceled.
I know, but I mean, that's what you want to
Right.
give me? Black Mafia Family, really?
I'm going to
Snoop?
go back to what I know. Power is what worked. I'm going to do Power. He's got, what has he got? He's got the Canaan version. He's got Power Book 2 with the spoiled kid. I'm looking forward to the Tommy storyline. I don't know if anybody's a Power fan, but I'm looking forward to the storyline. I could care less about Power Book 2. I did watch a little of the Canaan one, but whatever. I was a fan. But 50 is now his new role. He's not rapping. He is a executive producer and a showrunner. Let's go. Let's translate into a different career. Yay.
Really?
If you're not in the club, I can't even repeat some of the lyrics that he used to rap. So I'm very
Well, I
happy he's
mean,
doing something. He's
I mean,
appearing on
yeah.
The View. Come
No,
on.
I understand. He used to be the young man in the club in the song. Now he's like the old uncle in the club. Like, hey, girl, come here. I see you. I like that short skirt. Yeah,
Wait
I
a
know he
minute. Wait a
can't do it
minute.
in the club anymore. I understand that.
Yeah, wait a minute. Bruce Smith says Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson together again. No pun intended. A joint venture.
Yeah, yes.
We have a funny audience.
Up in smoke too. Yeah, definitely. They could be CBS's new Cheech and Chong. Because you got to be like 60 years old to get a show on CBS.
To get a show on CBS, you got
Yeah,
to.
I think Willie can help push Snoop into doing it. Wow.
Tomorrow, we have a brand new episode coming out for Interludes. Crescenda Jones, she's a life coach. And I spoke to her while I was on the road in Maryland. And we talk about
Guys everywhere.
just some inner
Alleys
workings.
everywhere.
Yeah, we
I ain't never seen somebody travel so much, especially during the pandemic. It's amazing.
stop hating
Blows
on
my
my
mind.
traveling, dude. I had a cousin get married over the weekend. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing.
One of these episodes of the podcast coming up, I was like, I'm in Rio de Janeiro, y'all. I'm like, what? How you do that? How you do that?
So I talked with Crescenda Jones, a life coach, and she talks about just how do we handle loss? How do we handle things that are out of our control? And she's got the disciples working against the new Jim Crow. I asked her about that. And so Crescenda Jones, she is our featured guest on the next Interlude.
You like how it begins too. It's a really the beginning is quite authentic and revealing, and just reminds you like why you want to hear from someone who is a life coach right now. Life is throwing us all into loops.
Yeah, a lot of curves.
Curves. Fastball curve. They call it like a slurve. A sliding curveball. Go into baseball references. Life is throwing us for a slurve, y'all. A slurve ball.
That's why it's important that we have an escape when it comes to good streaming or good television services that are out here. I don't know. And then, of course, when the movies start to hit back again, because I don't know what's out, but we'll probably do an episode about the fall
Yeah, there's some things
releases.
coming up. There's some
Yeah, there's
things.
some there's
The
some things
Fun is
coming out.
coming back.
Hey,
You know, I mean, it's like the '80s all over again. You got Jane
exactly.
Fonda, you got Top Gun coming back. Halloween movie, a new Halloween movie. It's like, well, what decade is it?
No,
I mean, there's a
it's
lot of
it's
chicken soup familiarity stuff.
it's all repeating. Hello, Mr. Fox. Blessings to you. He's in the chat. How are you doing?
Jamie Foxx is here.
Not Jamie Foxx, Phil
I
Fox.
love Shazam. Shazam, man.
It's
I
Phil
can name that
Fox.
tune in like three notes.
No, it's
Oh, Phil Fox. Oh, okay.
Phil Fox, not
I
Jamie
better get
Fox.
serious. I better get serious.
I know I said
That's a
Phil.
powerful man. That Phil
He's
Fox.
a yes,
Powerful
he's a
man.
friend to the show. Will you stop that?
He's a powerful person for real.
And
I
Michael,
mean,
what
you can hear his when you see his picture. I hear his voice, and I'm like, "Whoa, that voice! Wow!"
yeah, Phil, I need to call you because we need to talk voiceover stuff. Yeah, we gotta do that. Michael, what's your name?
My name is not Valerie Johnson because your name is, and this has been Interludes Taco Tuesday with Valerie Johnson.
You guys, thank you for joining us on today. Next Tuesday, join us with Talk on Tuesdays. We're out of here.
Yes, bring the sour cream. I brought the sangria.